CG show, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while. COVID threw us out, plus whatever else got involved, and now we're here, we're rocking, we're rolling. First person back, none other than Mr. Fedja Bilic. If you don't know this guy, he's started his real estate journey probably, I'd say, about 6 months ago with us, but has got an interesting story on how he's here today in real estate. His previous journey was a tennis career where he was ranked, I'd say, 1500th in the world?
Yeah, something like that.
1500th in the world, traveling the world, trying to make it as a pro star, trying to take down Roger Federer. Didn't eventuate, but, you know, what I want to dive into today is the journey, obviously, in itself, what you've learned, and now your transition into real estate. There's a lot of people here that are obviously not with a real estate background. They might be looking to get into real estate. They might be extremely new into real estate like yourself. So I think let's talk about that, and really excited to have you, man. And
yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, talk to me. So what was the journey? What was your tennis journey like? Take me from the start and take me through.
So basically, I started playing when I was, I think, 7 years old. Got into tennis, yeah. Parents, parents bought. I think the way it started, my parents bought a wooden tennis racket from. I still remember from a garage sale. Anyway, I just started hitting tennis balls up against the wall. I always wanted to actually start playing footy. Mum didn't let me, coming from a European background. She saw soccer. Footy was too rough. Threw me into tennis. I started just playing against the wall, and sorry, and I'd start visualizing. I don't know. I just started, like, at a young age, I was like visualizing myself playing tournaments against the wall. Like, I used to believe I was Leighton Hewitt playing Marat Safin, and just started playing tournaments. Went to a coach down in Reservoir at Dunstan Park, and just started playing there. Started getting lessons. Started loving it even more, and then got into tournaments, and just kept going. And just kept going. And
then where did you head? So obviously you ended up, you were overseas and you were playing there, but how did that all eventuate, and what was the reason for you wanting to go overseas? Why didn't you just stay here?
No, look, I think I knew from a very young age that I wanted to,
Sorry about that.
That's all. At a very young age, I knew I wanted to be successful, I think. At the time, I thought it was tennis. Tennis was like the only thing I knew. I played it all the time, and it got to about, I think I was even at 9, I wanted to become a professional tennis player. But at 16, that's when it sort of started. I started being a bit more serious, and then once I hit 18, once school finished up, the option came of either going to uni. I didn't know what to do, and my coaches sort of suggested, why don't you try college? So I had a few college applications that came through. Thought about college, but I realized there was a few players that I knew that went to college, came back and either didn't play or just got stuck in the whole partying. I got told that the college tennis is very much like the movies. It's all partying, and I knew I was probably going to fall into that. So I thought the best thing for me is probably to stay put, finish my year 12. And then my coaches at the time were opening up a full-time academy. And I decided, look, I'll stay there, played full-time. It was just one thing for me that sort of was tough, was full-time training was very expensive. And what I happened to have to do was coach to pay off my training, and then whatever remaining sum would stay in my pocket. So I stayed there for about 3-4 years. And I think at the age of 20 was the first year I went away to Europe, looking to play professional tournaments to try and build my ranking and hopefully break through.
Okay, and then what was it like when you got over there? Obviously, it was probably a whole new beast. Like, you were probably playing only Australians here, and then when you went over there, it was just everyone from around the world on circuits. What was that like?
I still remember the first tournament rocking up, and you're seeing a bunch of new faces. Everyone's speaking different languages. You don't know if anyone's talking shit about you. You're rocking up. It's quite nerve-wracking. Like, everyone, I think the difference with Europe and Australia is some of the countries over there don't have the same opportunities that we have here. So everyone seems to be a lot hungrier, and it was quite like intimidating going there. Everyone was, even the worst player in the lowest ranked player was just as hungry as like the first. And it was just like, no matter who you played, no matter what rank they were, you weren't going to get a break. It was just like consistent like battles till the last point. And it was quite eye-opening. And I think it sort of gave me it made me fight a lot harder. So, yeah.
And in regards to, so do you feel like the Australians going over there, they obviously probably struggle to adapt, or not really? The Aussies are pretty good at tennis. But I think what's it like moving out of home as a young kid, having to go over there, living on your own, fending for yourself, that mental space, that mental battle that you're always facing. How did you find that? There'd probably be days where you were all over the shop.
Yeah, the first few weeks were the toughest the first year, I think, because you go there, you don't know what to expect. You're trying to find your way around. You got to organize your hotels. You got to organize your flights. And then you're just sort of competing by yourself, and you haven't got that support with you.
You have an entourage?
No entourage. No entourage. I'd literally rock up to the tournaments. You'd be by yourself in the hotel room. You'd go get dinner by yourself. You'd go out onto court. You have to organize your own practices. You don't know anyone, so you're messaging other players, seeing if they would like to warm up with you in the mornings. And then, yeah, basically just like you're out on the court and you've got no one supporting you. You hit a good shot and no one's going to clap. No one's clapping. It's like, unless there's a few like spectators from the local like area, from the club, yeah, they might clap, but it's just you like backing yourself and supporting yourself like after every shot. Yeah, a lot of the time you're just alone. There's no support. That was probably the toughest thing, is just trying to get, when you're losing in a match and you've got no one saying, like, you haven't got a coach or your parents or someone going, come on, Fedj, like, keep it going. It's like you have to find your own way. And everyone else there knows you're from another country. They want you to lose as well. So yeah. it's tough. It's tough.
And what would you say, you were on tour for a couple of years. What would you say was your greatest moment while you were playing tennis?
I don't think it would be a result. I think it's just more just like the whole journey. The whole journey, just sort of like being able to go overseas, just learning, meeting different people from like all across the world. There wasn't like any particular result or tournament or anything that came about that sort of just made me like really stand out. It was just really just having the chance to go overseas and travel.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of learnings that you've taken out of tennis and bringing into your real estate career. So I want to touch on that a little bit later. But what made you stop playing tennis? Like, what was it? And when did you kind of just come to the realization that I think it's time that my dream of becoming a pro tennis player and making it in the top 100 probably isn't going to happen? Or how did it all play out? And what was actually your dream going into tennis, like growing up playing it your whole life?
Yeah.
What was your dream to make it? Like, what level did you want to become number one? Where were you?
So I think looking back on it now, for me I don't think it was ever the goal to be like to make history in tennis or be number one. For me, it wasn't that. For me, it came from just sort of like financial sort of stuff. I wanted to make it so I had the financial, like I could financially be free one day. And I think the one thing that I chose before anything was success. Like, I just want to be successful. I thought it was going to be in tennis because that was what I knew growing up. Looking back on it, I think it's whatever I found that I'd be good at. So for me now, going into real estate, I found a new passion and drive getting into real estate. And it's kind of different to the one that I had with tennis. With tennis, it was strictly like like I want to set myself up. I want to get to the top because I know that's where you're going to make the money. That's where it was. With real estate, it's gone into a complete different thing and I've spoken to you about it. I haven't even like thought about commissions. I don't discuss commission. I forget about that whole thing. It's like I just genuinely
collect.
Yeah, genuinely, I haven't thought about that. It's just strictly like I just want to be as good as I can be in this because I know the rest will come. And that's when I realized with tennis, I lost the competitive sort of drive. When it got to the stage when I was at a tournament, and I'd go out there, and it didn't matter whether I won or lost, and I'd be on that court, and I was losing, or I hit a good shot, and I wouldn't even care. Like, it was like I didn't feel anything. When I was out in training, where generally I'd be like really hard on myself for missing one ball out of 100, I'd like get really down on myself, and here I'd miss like 99 out of 100, and I didn't even care. Like, that's when I sort of knew. I also had some injuries that sort of held me back, but when I lost that feeling and that like emotion to the sport, I was like, I can't, like, if I'm not going to give it 100%, there's no point in me doing it. That's why I just always say, if I'm going to do something, it's kind of a good and bad thing. If I'm going to do something, if I'm going to give 100%, I'll do it. If I can't give 100% to it, I feel like there's no point.
Why did you lose the motivation? Like, what was it? Like, what was like? There was obviously times leading up to the end. For example, the last 3 months of your career, and leading to that last final match where you kind of called it a day. What was it like? What do you think it was? And that, you know, go into like those last moments, in a sense. You said that you were just emotionless. Like,
yeah, I think, look, in tennis, what not a lot of people know is, at the end of the day, unless you're top, let's say 150 in the world, you're either breaking even at the end of the year financially, or you're in debt at the end of the year. And for me, like, being at the ranking that I was, and in that position, every year was like a struggle to just get overseas. I didn't have money like to go out and like spend money to go out with friends. I couldn't go out to dinners. I couldn't do a lot of things because financially I wasn't there. And you feel like it's kind of tough because you feel like you're giving so much, and like, yeah, you have to put in the effort and whatnot to get the reward, but you feel like you're putting in so much, and at the end of the day, you haven't received nothing for it. You haven't got nothing to show. So that always played kind of on my mind. Like, I'm putting in so much, and so many conversations with my parents. Like, I'm putting in so much. I haven't got really a dollar to show for it. And it's kind of, it does take your toll. The toll does, like, it is on you. Like, it's tough knowing you're going out every day, you're training. I was coaching in the afternoon. So after my training was done, I'd have to stay back and coach. And it was just like that consistent sort of feeling. And I'd come back from Europe and I just have no money. And I was just like, I'm sick of being in this same position after giving so much. And it just sort of just kept going. And that sort of sometimes gave me energy to keep going, but it also did bring me down. So yeah, that was probably like one of the main reasons that I found it tough. And then obviously the injury reoccurring, dislocating my shoulder for I don't even know how many times now. That also brings it back, and you're just like, it's like giving so much. Maybe it's time to go move forwards, see where the other opportunities are.
Why even? So yeah, it was crazy when yourself and Harry really brought that, alerted to me to it. Like, if you're 150th in the world as a tennis player, you're probably making 40, 50 grand a year.
Yeah.
And that's literally not even including the expenses of having to go and hotels and food and everything like that. 150th in the world. If you were the 150th best soccer player, you'd be on 10 million plus. Basketball player, 10 million plus. You look at even your ranking of 1500. If you were the 1500th best soccer player, you're at least on a couple hundred a year, at least. So it's mental. It's mental how the sport works. What do you think? Why? What separated you from being 1500 to being 150, to being the top 100? Like, was it talent? What was it?
I don't think ability-wise. I don't think it was necessarily like ability-wise. I feel like I had a game that could have got me. I think it was a lot to do mentally. Like I said, it's funny in tennis. It can only take 4 or 5 months of really good results to get you to that position of top 200. For me, I was getting injured quite often. I don't know if that's because I was a bigger guy trying to run around on the tennis court weighing like 90 kilos, and it just took a toll on the body. For me, it was, I think, a lot more mentally. It was a lot more mental for me. I think sometimes I just had self-doubt in it. It's just a mental battle, I think, for me more than anything. It's just sometimes self-doubting myself. Just mental. Mental.
How much do you think mental actually plays a role if you had to compare your talent with mental?
Oh, it's definitely like 90% of the battle.
Wow.
I mean, I think you go there. I practice at the Australian Open with the players. I can keep up like ability wise. They don't hit the ball better. They don't hit the ball harder. I think it's just like that mental. They're just so mentally strong, and it's also just being like consistent and doing consistent things over and over again. Obviously, there's a few aspects that play into it, like who you have on your team, opportunities that present itself in terms of who you can train with, how often you can train, how often you can travel to play tournaments. Obviously, if you're able to travel all year and be in tournaments all year, it does help. It gives you more opportunities. So there's a lot of things, but I think mentally, I think that's what separates everyone in absolutely every field, not just tennis. I think it's absolutely any field.
Definitely, man. I look at I call myself an extremely positive. Like there's no negativity in me, and I know that's not, in a sense, people say that's not sustainable. You got to have some form of negativity. In a sense, like I there are days where it gets me, but I'm always just trying to stay on that positive mindset and really just really push that, because at the end of the day, I believe it controls everything. If you're waking up in the morning saying to yourself that today's not a great day because I've just woken up and it's not a great day, well, then guess what? The day's not going to be great. If you're waking up saying today's an amazing day, smell the bloody air. Just drink that water. Ooh, it's bloody warm in here today. Ooh, I've got a blanket. I've got everything I already need. I'm going in just like today's going to be an amazing day, and you just bring that energy. So definitely. And I know it's not humanly possible to stay 100% positive all the time. It's a battle that we face, and that goes into my next thing. Like, I look at the reason why when you applied for this job, I think there was about 150 applicants, and you were literally the only person that I interviewed because you just stood out. And it was literally your story of your ranking, and to get to that level where you're at, it's incredible. Like that's 1%. That's top 1% stuff. That's incredible. So I was like, you know what? He's probably got no idea. And I've watched you on the computer. You don't even know how to. Like, you're very slow. I don't know how to write an email.
It takes me 2 hours to write an email.
Very slow, but that's all teachable. What you can't teach is the work ethic that you have. And the mentality, obviously. Well, let's go into what are the positives that you've taken out of tennis and the negatives that you've taken out of tennis, and what are you taking into real estate, and what mistakes did you make, and in real estate what mistakes, and what obviously I've tongue twisted. What mistakes have you made in tennis that you're not going to make the same mistake twice in real estate? So
basically I think with real estate, one thing that I didn't have in tennis, and I've said this to you before, is patience. And I know that's just me with everything. Like, when I want something, I want to get it
now.
So with real estate, you kind of have, in a sense, you have no choice but to be patient. You can't force someone to go into a sale. Like, when you want, I would love to sell your property, but I can't force you to do it today. Like, if I have to wait 2 years, I've got no choice but for those 2 years to provide the person with value. And then when that opportunity arises, that's when I can do it. So in tennis, I was never really that patient. I'd always put pressure on myself, and it's something that played on my mind a lot. Like, I'm 22. You're seeing guys like Kyrgios and all these good players that are young, that are top. Like, why are they 22 and top 10 playing Australian Open? I'm 22 and I'm playing in some slum in Serbia, like in the middle of nowhere. And it's like, patience, I think, in real estate is key, for the fact that you can't obviously push anyone to do a sale. You can't push people, so you have to be patient, provide all the value. But one thing that tennis that I've brought in, there's a few things that I brought from tennis into real estate, is just being organized, structured. For me, I can't live without structure. Like, when I have a day off, like, I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I genuinely need a plan of what's going to happen. Even if on my day off, like, I sort my times. Okay, I'll go for a walk now. I'll go to the gym now. But then from this time, I'll play PlayStation, or I'll chill. I'll do this, and my girlfriend hates it. But that's why it has. That's why I have to be. So time you have to be organised in this game. I think you have to be really organised. That's something that tennis taught me just by simply having to organise flights, know when I'm going to catch a train. If I'm in Germany, I've got to make sure I'm at the train station at this time. Otherwise, I'm going to be lost. I'm going to be catching the wrong train and end up at some random city that I don't know where I am. So it's like just being organised. I think discipline as well. Saying when you're going to, like, if I speak to a potential client or a potential vendor, if I'm telling them I'm going to send them this document, or if I'm going to send them this, making sure I stick to that and send it, just like I did with training. If I'm going to say I'm going to be there at training at this time, I want to be there. Just like that overall discipline that I think it takes in sport, you have to have in this, especially in this. You have to know exactly what's going on at all times. You have to be there on time. I think one thing that I say even to like the guys in the office, I don't like that we rock up sometimes on time. Like, I think if you're 5 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late. Like, I like to be there on time. I like to be prepared. Everything has to be, as you can see, everything has to be done. Like, I like to do things half an hour in advance because then I'm stress-free.
You're a stress head. Sometimes you're calling me, I'm like, relax, it's all good. I've sorted it. Don't stress.
I think it's a thing of, I'm a perfectionist as well. So I think I try and make sure that if I'm going to do something, like I said, has to be done 100%. Has to be done perfectly, and yeah, like it does stress me out sometimes, but that's why I am. Yeah,
I think it's funny. Like, even I remember the first day we met. It was a very good conversation. Like, I knew from the outset that you've got what it takes. Just as I said, the traits of what your history is, and I remember I told you to send me a resume.
Yeah. I've never had a resume in my life.
I knew you wouldn't have a resume. I just made you make one to see how long it was going to take.
Yeah.
And you sent it to me. I didn't even read it.
No.
But just hilarious that, I just found that extremely funny. But overall, man, I think real estate's a game where if you are patient and you put in the work every single day, the results will come. Yes, it's a long game. You look at some of the best real estate agents at the moment that are doing very well for themselves. They've been in the game for 10 years plus. You know, it's not a game that you walk in. And I was a victim of this. I thought I was going to come in first year, probably buy the Lambo. Second year, the mansion was going to come. Third year, maybe not the private jet, but I would have definitely had probably another car, probably another investment. And by the fourth, I'd be hanging up the boots. That's exactly what I thought. I'd be living the dream. So I think for anyone that's looking to get into real estate or just any work in general, like you do see a lot of companies where there are the 1% that in 1 or 2 years they're worth hundreds of millions, but you know, we got to be real with ourselves, and for the 99% that doesn't happen, and you've got to play the long game. You got to say to yourself, I'm happy to make $5 in the first year, $5 in the second year, $5 in the third year, $5 in the fifth year, on the fourth year, but in the fifth year, I'm going to make $25. In the sixth year, I'm going to make $50. And you hear so many real estate agents that they were about to quit. It's like that analogy. I don't know if you've seen the photo online. It's like the guy that's digging the diamond. Gold. The diamond. And he just quit. And he just quit. And then the diamond was right there. That's real estate.
Yeah, and the other guy kept going.
Correct.
Got the diamond.
That's real estate. It only takes you 100,000 rejections for you to finally get your big break. Where you've got this property and then it just whirlwinds from there. Where you're going to start listing and it just explodes. So I think it really is a long time. How are you finding real estate?
At the moment, I'm loving it. I love the challenge. Like with anything, I love the challenge. I love the challenge of, every day I'm sort of being thrown into, generally people seem to start at property management. Starting out, I didn't even know what property management was. I didn't even know what a rental was. So the fact that I've just gone straight into sort of sales has put me not under the pressure, but I sort of just have to dive in. And I've had to dive in like pretty quick. Like we've only been in the office, 3 months now or something? And I didn't know shit from clay like 6 months ago. Like all I knew real estate was selling homes. But I like the idea of being able to talk to people and that the fact that it's like a people's game. But you gotta know, like I just love the fact that every day I'm trying something new. I've just been thrown I've just jumped into it. I haven't been thrown into it, I've jumped into it myself. Every day is a different like learning curve. It's like, I don't know what to expect. I have a set idea of what's going to happen in that day, and that never actually happens.
Yeah.
So for me, it's been really exciting, just learning the processes. And even just for me, just being in real estate's taught me like about so many things in terms of properties, investing, just like my own knowledge that I've taken on, just like how to manage money, watching how these people who are purchasing investments, how they handle their money. It's just a huge eye-opener in different aspects.
Can I ask, how is real estate in comparison to, what did you think it was going to be like in comparison to what it actually is?
Well, it's funny because my mum, when first she started talking to me about and I've always been interested in properties, but mum made me watch a show, the $1 Million Listing Show. Okay, that's very glamorized. You're watching they're selling like $40 million+ homes.
They're throwing all those parties.
Yeah, throwing all these parties.
Yeah.
Everyone's driving Lambos. So I knew going into it, I'm not going to be driving a Lambo my first week. So for me, honestly, I've kind of accepted it. I think it was just like, I learned before even applying, I was watching videos on YouTube of other agents explaining what it's actually like to be a real estate agent. And they were sort of emphasizing that if you think you're going into this and you're going to be making $2 million in your first year and it's going to be like the shows on TV, you got another thing coming. So I think that's another thing with tennis. I knew straight away it's not going to be an overnight thing. So going into it, like, I'm not expecting anything huge. Obviously, I'm trying to put the work in to get the results as soon as I can. But I understand that it's for me, it's exactly the sort of way I pictured it. And I'm just trying to be patient, just put in the work. And I know the time will come when everything's going to come together. I'll know what I'm doing. Opportunities will come. But for now, I'm just literally just trying to learn every single day something new. So then when the opportunity does come, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. So yeah, I don't think anything's not the way I expected it. I think it's actually probably better. Just like going out, meeting new people, going to appraisals with you, meeting funny people, you know what we're talking about. And just like, it's honestly awesome every day. Like, it is hard work. It's not physically tiring. I don't feel physically tired at the end of the day. It's more just like mentally exhausted. But the next day I'm eager and ready to get up. Like, I can't wait to get back to work and see, like, can I create another opportunity somewhere? Like, where's the next lead going to come from? Like, it's fun. Like, it's honestly fun. It doesn't feel like work. Like, it doesn't feel like, I've said it to you, I've said it to everyone, like, tennis training was so much harder. Yeah. Like, running to the point where you feel like you're going to pass out. Like, here I don't feel like I'm going to pass out. Like, it's good. It feels good.
What made you choose real estate? Like, what was it? There was probably other industries that you had any choice to make. Why real estate?
I was thinking of actually going into personal training. But then I sort of like, mum sort of made me watch $1 Million Listing. During lockdown, I watched the first lockdown at the very start of the year when COVID came. I started watching that Selling Sunset.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's very glamorized.
Yeah.
But like, I liked the idea. And then I started watching other YouTubers, like real estate agents. And when I started, and you sent me a link to Real Estate Gym, Tom Panos.
Yeah.
And just listening to other agents and them sort of explain it's a people's business. And I realized, like, I sort of genuinely get along with people pretty well. I feel like I'm an honest person. People tend to trust me. And just all the traits that I think it was a video that mentioned, like, the traits of a good real estate agent. And I started looking into it and figuring out it's all about understanding people, trying to understand their situation, how you can help them, and just the rewards of, I love to help people. So knowing that I'm helping someone either achieve their dream home or sell their property to go and do what they want to do with whatever, I think that's why I chose real estate more than anything. Yes, you can make a lot of money in it. I think that's just a bonus, but it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't feel like work. Like, you're just going out and talking to people, enjoying, like, just providing value. And I just love I'm only a few months in, but I already feel like I've got relationships with people, like, that I haven't met, but like, I feel like I can go into a few years' time and like sit down, or like even now just sit down and have a coffee with them and just talk shit.
Yeah.
Like
It's an interesting game where you're meeting all kinds of different people every single day. It's extremely competitive. I'd probably liken it to a sport where there's 10 agents always, 4 or 5 agents, let's just say, always going for the same property, or there's 100 plus agents in our area where we're at, so it's always pretty competitive. But I think if you're just providing value and you keep pushing that avenue and you're just bringing yourself out, I think, man, you're gonna have no issues. I like what you're doing. You're giving social media a go. Keep pushing social media, and for anybody, even if you're an established real estate agent listening to this, I don't see many established real estate agents even going out and pushing social media.
Yeah.
So go out and just keep giving it a crack.
Yeah, 100%.
What's it like being dropped back into the real world? Obviously, you were on tour for a couple of years, trying to make it, and then you just got pinged back into let's just say the normal life. Did it take much to adjust, or not really? COVID probably helped anyway.
Yeah, kind of. I've put on a few kgs since started in the real world with not training like as often as I did. But in terms of like the real world, it was just the fact, I don't know, something that's just different for me is obviously not going away. Normally by April, May, I'd be away in Europe for like 5 to 6 months. In terms of the real world, like I said, I was coaching. Yeah. So coaching was my job as well. So I didn't really feel like I was just playing tennis. So I had to coach as well, to pay off my training, to pay my coaches back, whatever it was, to even put money in my pocket. So it doesn't really feel like I didn't have a real world, but just that whole aspect of traveling every year, going away, getting ready for tournaments, whether it's in Europe or across Australia. That's the only thing that I feel that's really different.
No.
Yeah.
That's a fair play, man. I think, what do you want to achieve in real estate? Like, I think if you had to put yourself in a 10, 20 year plan, what do you want to achieve? And do you think you'll ever return back into tennis in some way, shape or form, in any, I don't know?
I think tennis will always be a part of my life, just because I've built so many relationships through tennis. Like, a lot of my friends have come from tennis, coaches that I've met, coaches overseas. Just like, tennis will always be a part of my life, like wherever I go. I think I'll be known in real estate probably as a tennis guy. But in terms of real estate, where do I see myself in like the next 20 years? Like, in the next 2-3 years, I just want to learn, just build a strong base, know everything I can about my suburbs, the processes, absolutely everything. So when I go up to a client, I can provide them with value in every aspect. Yeah. So I want to know when I'm going into a presentation or whatever, anything, I don't want to be saying, I'll find out for you. I want to know exactly what I'm talking about. I want to be the most knowledgeable person in the market. And then I just want to sort of just, like, with real estate, I want to be the best of the best. I want, like, people, when they think real estate in this suburb, I want them to think Fedja Bilic.
Fedja Bilic, that's what I love. And I think it's, mate, definitely, it's possible.
Yeah.
You've literally got what it takes. You're just a general all-round good bloke. Yeah. You've got the work ethic of a god. And I think the knowledge, you'll sponge that. Like, that's just learning the process. You'll get there.
Yeah.
What's real estate taught you? So what have you come out? You're only let's say 6 months into the game.
Yep.
3 months in the office, so you had 3 months on your own. Really, I was trying to teach you.
I was cold calling from the bedroom.
Just no idea, just like show your house.
Yeah. I actually picked up a rental.
Yeah.
Not knowing what I was talking about.
That's brilliant. Yeah. But what has it taught you so far?
Once again, I think it's just taught just the importance of having structure, just in everyday life, just being organised, being disciplined. What else? It's just a very, I mean, it's taught me to handle rejection better. I mean, like in tennis, rejection I see is like sort of like losing a match or whatever. If someone doesn't want you, I don't take it personally. I haven't taken, like, if I call someone, they basically tell me to F off. I don't really take it personally anymore. It taught me how to handle rejection. Stay disciplined. be structured more than anything. Having structure, I think, is just really super important. I think it's just being structured, and yeah, man, just like people skills as well. Just like I've noticed myself, generally I'm quite, I wouldn't say I'm introverted. Like if I don't know someone, I'm quite quiet, and everyone seems to say that if I go out in a group of friends and I don't know people, I just tend to sit there and everyone thinks I'm shy. But now, like, I go out to shops and I don't know if it's just like me, I think it's a bit of me trying to practice. But like if I go out to a shop or I try and learn, like it's teaching me people skills to start conversations, bring up conversations with everyone, introduce myself to everyone where normally I'd be quite quiet. So I think it's just people skills, communication skill, like heaps of stuff that, like, I'm not an introvert, but like I said, like it's taught me to go out. If I'm in a closed shop, normally I'd just be like, yeah, I like that. I'll just buy it, see you later. Now I talk to them, I ask them questions, like, and it's kind of the thing that I haven't, like, I feel like I'm always, trying to get information, like, and trying to ask questions to find out, like, and now it's just become a habit now when I go out. If I don't talk to someone, if I don't bring up questions and don't spark some sort of conversation, I feel like I haven't done a job.
Bloody oath. Well, man, like even for yourself, like you should be just going to, for example, going to coffee shops.
Yeah.
When going to all different coffee shops, having the conversation with the person. And as a real estate agent, your job is to extract information.
Yeah.
So practice yourself as an interview, like you're interviewing them, and just ask them questions and extract as much data I call it, as possible out of the person. To obviously then you can steer the conversation where you want it. As a real estate agent, your main objective is to get their property for sale. So steer it down the path of, okay, do you, I don't know, you can just start talking to them, but obviously start finding out, do you have any investment properties? Do you know anyone that's interested in buying? And if they turn around and say, oh yeah, my sister's got an investment property and she's looking to buy something else. Then there you go. You've opened up. Okay, so Sally that I've just met at this place has her sister's got an investment property, and you provide her value, help her sister, and at the end of the day you'll get the rental, help her buy, and then there's a relationship made. And if you do well, then that's the we'll get too excited there. If they do, if that does well, then obviously they'll refer you on to other people, and it will just continue.
So, I believe everyone's an opportunity. Yes, I'm not looking at everyone as like an opportunity as a sale, but just like everyone has either something or they know someone who needs assistance. Everyone's of value in some way, shape or form. Not everyone's dollar value. I think if you do look at everyone like dollar signs, no, I don't think that's the way I want to look at it.
But if everyone's a value in a sense where they can refer you on to, I know this person that could get you into something. Everyone's just connected. The whole world's connected. So if you're getting out there to as many people as possible and putting yourself out into these positions, you'll get the reward. Just to wrap this up, what's the greatest advice that you've ever been given?
Greatest advice. I think just other than like be a good person and just work hard. That was just like something my mum taught me from a very young age, something that was instilled in me from just my parents, just watching my parents, like even to this day, just work hard. I think that's just something that's been instilled. But other than that, just like, I couldn't even tell you one thing. I just watch so many people that are successful in different fields, whether it's sports, whether it's entrepreneurs, whatever it is. I always look at these people and try and gather different bits of advice, whether it's one thing that I took heaps from was Conor McGregor, even though he lost, disappointed. But he played a huge role in when I first started. I'm not a bandwagon. I didn't start jumping on his bandwagon when he started winning. I was like from the start. Was just him talking about visualization, just visualizing everything you want. And I noticed going back, everything that I visualized actually has come to life. Like if you actually look back on it, it might not be in the time frame that you imagined it. I think that's for everyone. You generally always get what you visualize, maybe not the way you expect it or the way like when you think it's going to come. That just heaps of stuff from heaps of people. It can't be just one thing. It's just like I started to study so many people that it's just like information overload.
Bloody oath, man. The internet's allowed us to just fill ourselves up with so much knowledge and get so many different perspectives from different people. Like visualization for me is insane. Like I'm always putting my goals and ambitions out to the world. And I'd openly just say, I'm going to grow the greatest real estate agency in Australia. Like it's going to happen. because I feel like the more we talk about it, the more like it's gonna happen.
Yeah, speaking.
And we work towards that.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to just keep putting out to the universe
Yeah.
what you want.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everyone's always gonna have an opinion.
Yeah,
You
no
know,
matter
look at
what.
Oprah Winfrey. She gave away. Everyone had a car apparently.
Yeah,
You got a car. You got a
Yeah.
car. And the internet still had something to say about it. So
it's never enough.
it's never enough. So you're always going to get criticised. So just keep putting it out there and
Yeah.
just keep doing you. And like Fedj, this has been amazing. It's been an amazing conversation. I felt like we've delved in so much, about yourself, but even as discussed, for anybody that wants to get into real estate or the journey, like it's incredible. If anyone follow Fedja Bilic, we'll plug the handle down so you guys can follow him. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for having me.